They say the truth hurts, but lies can kill you, slowly, day by day. My name is David, and for 12 years I was living in a dream. Or maybe it was a coma. I worked 60 hours a week, steel-toe boots, cracked knuckles, sunburn on my neck. I did it for her, Vanessa. I did it for the 3 boys waiting at the dinner table. I thought I was the hero of this story. But sitting in that courtroom, wearing a suit that felt 2 sizes too small, I realized I was the prey. Vanessa sat across from me. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the judge. She had tears in her eyes. Fake tears. She wanted the house, the truck, the pension, and child support for 3 kids that she swore I neglected. But I had something she didn't know about. It was sitting in my inside pocket. A plain, white envelope. It weighed less than an ounce, but it was about to drop like a nuclear bomb. Before I opened that envelope, I need to ask you something. And be honest. Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone you loved and realized you were looking at a stranger? If you have, pause this video right now. Go to the comments and type justice, because what happens in the next 20 minutes is going to make you believe in justice again. Let's go back to the start. Before the lawyers, before the lies, 12 years ago, I was a different man. Younger, stronger, maybe a little stupider. I met Vanessa at a diner off I-95. She was pretty, sharp. She laughed at my jokes. 6 months later, we were married. Simple ceremony. Just us and the preacher. She told me she wanted a big family. I told her I wanted to build a legacy. I started my own contracting business, Miller Construction. It wasn't much, just me and a beat-up Ford pickup. But I hustled. I missed birthdays. I missed anniversaries. Why? To pay for the private school, to pay for the ballet lessons, the soccer camps. Vanessa didn't work. She said her job was the house, the kids. I respected that. Being a mom is the hardest job on earth. Or so I thought. The cracks started small. You know how it is. She stopped asking how my day was. She started locking her phone. She started going on girls' trips to Miami, to Vegas. I stayed home with the boys. Liam, Noah, and little Ben. I loved those kids more than air. I taught Liam how to throw a curveball. I taught Noah how to fix a leaky pipe. But Vanessa? She was drifting. Then came the night that changed it all. October 14th. I came home early. A job got canceled. The house was quiet. Too quiet. The boys were at school. Vanessa's car was in the driveway. I walked into the kitchen. She was on the phone. Her back was to me. She was laughing. A low, throaty laugh I hadn't heard in years. She said 4 words that stopped my heart. He has no idea I froze. My boots didn't make a sound on the tile. She kept talking. Don't worry, baby. The divorce is coming. I just need to make sure the numbers work. I need to bleed him dry first. Bleed him dry, me, the man who built this house with his own hands. I backed out of the room. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I got in my truck, and I drove. I drove until the gas light came on. I felt sick, not because she was leaving, but because of the way she said it. Calculated, cold. She wasn't just falling out of love. She was planning a heist, and I was the bank. 2 days later, I got served. I was on a roof fixing shingles. A deputy handed me a stack of papers thick enough to choke a horse. Divorce, full custody, alimony, and child support. The number she wanted? $4,500 a month, plus half the business, plus the house. She claimed I was volatile Dot. She claimed I was an absentee father. Me, the guy who coached Little League. I looked at the deputy. He looked sorry for me. "Good luck, son," he said. "You're gonna need it." Let me pause here. Men, women, it doesn't matter. What would you do? Would you scream? Would you beg? Or would you get quiet? They say the quiet ones are the dangerous ones. I got very, very quiet. I hired a lawyer. Stan wasn't fancy. His office smelled like old coffee and cigars. But Stan was a pit bull. He looked at the papers Vanessa filed. He whistled low. "David," he said, "she's not just going for the jugular. She's going for the soul. She says the kids need the money," I said. Stan looked at me over his glasses. "Do they? What do you mean?" "I mean," Stan tapped the desk, "she's been taking trips, buying clothes. Where's that money coming from? Your account?" "No," I said. "We have a joint account, but I track it. She spends it, but not that much." Stan leaned in. "Then someone else is funding her lifestyle, David, or she has a secret stash." That night, I became a detective in my own life. I waited until she took the boys to her mother's. I went into the attic. I went into the basement. Nothing. Then I remembered. The old vent in the master bedroom. It was loose. I used to hide emergency cash there back in the day. I pulled the grate off. I reached in. My fingers brushed against something cold. Metal. A lockbox. I didn't have the key, but I'm a contractor. I have a drill. 5 minutes later, the lock snapped. I opened the lid, and my world stopped spinning. It wasn't cash. It wasn't jewelry. It was letters and birth certificates, but not the ones I had framed on the wall. These were different. I picked up the first one. Liam Miller, father, unknown. I picked up the second one. Noah Miller, father, unknown. My hands started shaking, but that wasn't the worst part. Under the certificates was a letter, handwritten, dated 3 months ago. It was addressed to a man named Gary. I read the first line. "Don't worry about the DNA test. I found a way to fake the results for the court if he asks. David is too stupid to check. Just keep sending the checks to the private account. He thinks they are his." I sat on the floor. The dust settled around me. I couldn't breathe. 12 years. 3 boys. David is too stupid to check. I wasn't sad anymore. The sadness evaporated. It was replaced by something else. Ice. Pure cold ice. I took the box. I went to see Stan. Stan read the letter. He didn't whistle this time. He smiled. A terrifying shark-like smile. "David," he said, "don't say a word to her. Not one word. Why?" I asked. Because Stan said, "We're not just going to win. We're going to destroy her in open court, the day of the trial." The air conditioner was humming, but I was sweating. Vanessa was there. She looked perfect. Modest dress, a little bit of makeup, playing the part of the struggling mother. Her lawyer was a guy in a $3,000 suit. He stood up first. He painted me as a monster. He talked about how I worked too much, how I wasn't emotionally available, how Vanessa had sacrificed her youth for me. Vanessa sniffled on cue. She dabbed her eyes with a tissue. The judge, Judge Harrison, was buying it. He was an old-school guy. He didn't like deadbeat dads. He looked at me with disgust. "Mr. Miller," the judge said, "your wife is asking for $4,500 a month. Given your income, that seems appropriate. Do you have any objection?" Stan stood up. He didn't look at the judge. He looked at Vanessa. "Your Honor," Stan said, "we don't object to supporting Mr. Miller's children." Vanessa's lawyer smirked. But Stan continued, "We do object to supporting another man's children." The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Vanessa stopped sniffling. Her lawyer stood up. "Objection. Relevance." "It is entirely relevant," Stan said calmly. "If Mr. Miller is not the father, he is not liable." The judge frowned. "Mr. Miller is on the birth certificates. He has raised them for 12 years. Paternity is established by presumption. Presumption is not fact, Your Honor," Stan said. Stan turned to me. "David." I stood up. My legs felt heavy. I reached into my pocket. I pulled out the envelope. It wasn't the letters from the box. It was something new, something we had spent the last 2 weeks getting. See, Stan told me we needed proof, undeniable proof. So I had taken the boys for ice cream last week. I plucked a hair from Liam. I grabbed a used straw from Noah, and I sent them to a private lab. Rush order. I walked to the witness stand. I handed the envelope to the bailiff. The bailiff handed it to the judge. Vanessa was staring at the envelope. Her face was starting to change. The confidence was leaking out. She looked at her lawyer. Her lawyer looked confused. Judge Harrison opened the seal. Rip. The sound was like a gunshot in the quiet room. He pulled out the paper. He adjusted his glasses. He read it. Then he read it again. Then he looked at Vanessa. His face turned red. Not angry at me, angry at the court being mocked. "Mrs. Miller," the judge said. His voice was low, dangerous. "Can you explain this?" Vanessa stood up. "Explain what?" "He's lying. Whatever he gave you is a fake. This is a lab report," the judge said. "Accredited. Court approved." He looked at the paper. Subject 1, Liam Miller. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. Vanessa gasped. Subject 2, Noah Miller. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. Vanessa's lawyer slumped in his chair. But the judge wasn't done. Subject 3, Ben Miller. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. 3 strikes. I watched Vanessa, and this is the moment I will never forget. Her face went white, whiter than the walls. It was the color of a ghost. She gripped the table. Her knuckles were white, too. She looked at me. For the first time in months, she really looked at me. There was no hate, only fear. Because she knew. She knew about the box. She knew about the letters. "Your Honor." She screamed. He planted that. He sit down. The judge roared. He turned to me. "Mr. Miller, is there anything else?" Stan nodded to me. This was it. The final nail. "Yes, Your Honor," I said. I pulled out a second piece of paper. A photocopy of the letter she wrote to Gary. "I found this in her lockbox," I said. "Dot, she admits to fraud. She admits to knowing I wasn't the father." The courtroom erupted. Vanessa's lawyer was packing his briefcase. He knew it was over. He actually walked out on her right there. The judge looked at Vanessa like she was something he stepped in. "Mrs. Miller," he said, "not only am I dismissing the request for support, I am ordering an immediate investigation into fraud. You have perjured yourself in my courtroom." Vanessa started crying. Real tears this time. Ugly tears. "But the house," she wailed. "Where will we leave?" "That is not Mr. Miller's problem," the judge said. I walked out of that courthouse. The sun hit my face. It felt different, lighter. I looked at my phone. I had 3 missed calls from Gary. Apparently the news travels fast. But here's the twist, the part that hurts. I got into my truck, and I cried. Not for Vanessa, but for the boys, Liam, Noah, Ben. They weren't my blood, but they were my sons. I had raised them, and now I was technically a stranger. I sat in that parking lot for an hour. I had won. I had kept my money. I had kept my pride. But I had lost my family. I have a question for the fathers watching this. If you found out your kids weren't yours, would you still love them? Would you walk away? Or would you fight for them? Drop a comment below. Walk away or stay. I need to know what you would do, because what I did next shocked everyone. Even Stan. I drove to the house. My key still worked. I walked inside. The boys were there, watching TV. They didn't know anything. They didn't know their mom was potentially going to jail. They didn't know I wasn't their dad. Liam looked up. "Hey, Dad," he said. "Can you help me with math?" "Dad," the word cut me in half. I looked at Stan's business card in my hand. Stan had told me, "Walk away, David. You have a clean break. Start over. Find a nice woman. Have your own kids." It was the smart thing to do, the logical thing. But looking at Liam, I realized something. Biology makes you a father. Love makes you a dad. Vanessa was a monster. But these boys, they were victims. I made a decision right then and there. I wasn't going to just leave, but I wasn't going to let Vanessa win either. I had one more card to play, one more secret that even the judge didn't know. See, when I was digging in that lockbox, I found something else, something tucked way at the bottom. A passport, with Vanessa's face, but a different name, and a different birth date. And next to it, a marriage certificate from 15 years ago, to a man in Nevada. A man she never divorced, which meant our marriage. It wasn't just broken. It was illegal. It never happened. And that meant I had leverage. Leverage to take the boys. Leverage to put her away for a long, long time. I walked into the kitchen. I picked up the phone. I dialed Stan. "Don't file the paperwork yet," I said. "Why?" Stan asked. I watched Liam doing his math homework. Because, I said, I'm going for full custody, and I'm going to get it. David, Stan warned, you have no biological claim? It's impossible. Not with what I just found, I said. What did you find? I smiled, a cold, hard smile. I found out that Vanessa isn't who she says she is, and neither is Gary. What do you mean? I mean, I whispered. The game isn't over, Stan. It's just beginning. They say you never really know who you're sleeping next to. I thought I was sleeping next to Vanessa Miller, mother, wife, homemaker. But at 2 a.m., sitting at my kitchen table with a bottle of whiskey I hadn't opened in years, I realized I was sleeping next to a ghost. The passport in my hand didn't say Vanessa. It said Veronica Stone, and the marriage certificate stapled to the back. It wasn't to me. It was to a man named Marcus Vane, dated 15 years ago. Las Vegas, Nevada. There were no divorce papers in the box. No annulment. Just a marriage license and a police report. A missing persons report. For her. She didn't leave Marcus. She vanished. And looking at the date, she met me 3 months later. My blood ran cold. If she was still married to Marcus when she married me, then our marriage was fake, void, but that wasn't the scary part. The scary part was why she ran. I turned the page of the police report. Suspect is wanted for questioning regarding the disappearance of $250,000 from Vane Auto Body. She didn't just leave him. She robbed him. And then she found me. Her perfect, gullible, hard-working Mark. I wasn't a husband. I was a hiding spot. I had a choice. Call the cops right now. Have her arrested for bigamy and fraud. Stan said it was the easy win. But Stan didn't understand one thing. The kids. If Vanessa went to jail tonight, where would the boys go? Foster care, because I wasn't the biological dad. The system is cold. The system doesn't care about love. It cares about blood. I couldn't let them take Liam, Noah, and Ben, so I had to do something crazy. I had to find Marcus Vane, and I had to find the biological father, Gary. I needed them to sign their rights away. I needed to own the truth before the police got involved. This wasn't a divorce anymore. It was a hostage rescue. I started with Gary. The letter in the lockbox had a return address. Gary's luxury estates. Of course. He was a real estate guy. Slick hair. Shiny shoes. No calluses. I drove my beat-up Ford to his office. I walked past the receptionist. I kicked open his door. Gary was on the phone. He looked up, annoyed. "Can I help you?" he asked. I threw the paternity test on his desk. "You're Liam, Noah, and Ben's father," I said. Gary didn't look shocked. He looked bored. "Look, buddy," Gary said, hanging up the phone. "I already pay her, cash, every month. We have a deal. She keeps them away from me. I keep her secret." I felt a rage building in my chest. "They aren't a secret," I growled. "They are children. Your children." Gary laughed. A cold, dry sound. "They are baggage," he said. "I have a wife now. A real family. Vanessa knows the rules. If she exposes me, the money stops." I leaned over the desk. I grabbed him by his silk tie. "You're going to sign something for me, Gary. Get off me. You're going to sign a voluntary termination of parental rights. You're going to say you want nothing to do with them. Ever. Gary straightened his tie. He looked at me like I was crazy. Why would I do that? Because, I said, if you don't, I give this paternity test to your wife. Gary went pale. See guys like Gary? They don't fear God, they fear alimony. He pulled out a pen. Where do I sign? I walked out of there 5 minutes later. Step 1 complete. The biological father was out of the picture, legally, but now came the hard part. The husband, Marcus Vane, the man she robbed, the man she ran from. I didn't know if he was alive. I didn't know if he was dangerous, but I was about to find out. Let me ask you, if you found the man your wife was secretly married to, would you call him? Or would you be afraid of what you might find? Type, call him or stay away in the comments. Because I made the call, and I instantly regretted it. I found a number for Vane Auto Body in Nevada. It was still active. I dialed. Ring, ring. Vane Auto, a voice answered. Deep, rough, smoker's voice. I'm looking for Marcus Vane, I said. Speaking. My name is David Miller. I'm calling from Ohio. Don't know you. No, I said. But you know Veronica Stone. The line went dead silent. For 10 seconds I thought he hung up. Then he spoke. His voice dropped an octave. Where is she? She's my wife, I said. Or, I thought she was. Marcus laughed. It was a terrifying sound, like grinding gears. She ain't your wife, pal. She's mine, and she owes me $250,000. I found her passport, I said. I know she ran. Listen to me carefully, David, Marcus said. Is she there? With you? She's nearby. Don't let her leave, Marcus said. I'm coming. Wait, I said. I just want to clear up the marriage license so I can get custody of her kids. I don't want trouble. Custody? Marcus scoffed. Does she have kids? 3 boys. Are they mine? No. Good, Marcus said. Then they won't get in the way. In the way of what? In the way of me getting what's mine. Click. He hung up. I stared at the phone. I had just invited a shark into the swimming pool. Stan called me 10 minutes later. David, Stan said. I did a background check on Marcus Vane, and he served 8 years for aggravated assault. He was part of a biker gang in Reno, David. This guy's bad news. He's coming here, Stan. What? He's coming for her. David, take the boys. Get out of the house. Now. I rushed home. I was going to pack the boys up, take them to a motel. But when I pulled into the driveway, I was too late. Vanessa's car was there, and she wasn't alone. She was loading suitcases into the trunk. She was taking them. I slammed my truck into park. I ran toward her. Where are you going? I yelled. Vanessa spun around. She looked manic. Her eyes were wide. I'm leaving, David. I'm taking the boys, and we are going to my sister's. You don't have a sister, I said. She froze. I know about Veronica, I said. She dropped the suitcase. It hit the pavement with a heavy thud. I know about Marcus, I said. She started shaking, visibly shaking. You talked to him? I did. You idiot. She screamed. She lunged at me, clawing at my face. Do you know what you did? He'll kill us. He'll kill all of us. I caught her wrists. He's not going to touch the boys, I said. And he's not going to touch you if you do exactly what I say. I have to go. She screamed. He's crazy, David. That money, I stole it to get away from him. He beat me. He beat me every night. I looked at her. For the first time, I saw fear. Real fear. Maybe she was a con artist. Maybe she was a liar. But looking in her eyes, I believed her about Marcus. She wasn't running to something. She was running from hell. And I had just invited the devil to dinner. Suddenly the front door opened. Liam stood there. He was holding his little brother's hand. "Mom? Dad?" Liam asked, his voice trembling. "Why are you yelling?" I let go of Vanessa. I stepped between her and the boys. "Go inside, Liam," I said calmly. "Lock the door. Dad, do I tea?" I roared. Liam jumped. He dragged Ben inside and slammed the door. I turned back to Vanessa. "We have a problem," I said. "Marcus is on his way. He knows where we live." Vanessa fell to her knees. She was sobbing. "He'll burn the house down," she whispered. "He promised. If I ever left, he'd burn it all down." I looked at my house. The house I built. The house where my boys were sleeping. I wasn't a fighter. I was a contractor. But a contractor knows how to protect a foundation. "Get up," I told her. "What are we going to do?" She asked. "We aren't doing anything," I said. "You are going to sign full custody over to me. Right now." "What? Are you crazy?" "Marcus is coming." "Exactly," I said. "And if you want my help, if you want me to stop him, you sign the papers. You give me the boys, and I protect you." She looked at me. She looked at the dark road. She knew she had no choice. "Fine." She screamed. "Fine. Just save me." I pulled the papers out of my truck. I had Stan draw them up just in case. She signed them on the hood of the car. Her hand was shaking so bad she almost tore the paper. Full legal custody. Forfeiture of parental rights. It was done. The boys were mine. But we weren't safe yet, because at the end of the street, a pair of headlights appeared, yellow, old, and the rumble of a motorcycle engine cut through the night air. Not just one bike, 3. I reached into my truck bed. I'd pulled out my framing hammer. It wasn't a gun, but it was heavy steel. "Get inside," I told Vanessa. "Stay with the boys. What are you going to do?" She cried. I watched the bikes slow down. They stopped right in front of the driveway. 3 men. Leather cuts. Helmets. The middle one took off his helmet. He had a scar running from his eye to his jaw. He looked at me. He smiled. "Hello, David," Marcus said. I gripped the hammer. "Get off my property." Marcus laughed. "I'm not here for the property, Dave. I'm here for the repayment." He stepped off the bike. He reached into his jacket. I braced myself. But he didn't pull a gun. He pulled out a lighter. He flicked it. The flame danced in the dark. "She likes to spend money," Marcus said. "I like to burn things." He looked at the house, the wood siding. "Send her out, Dave, or I light the match." My heart was hammering against my ribs. I had 3 choices. 1. Give him Vanessa. He leaves. The boys are safe. 2. Fight him. 3 against 1. I die. They burned the house. 3. I looked at the sprinkler system I had installed last summer. Industrial grade. High pressure. The control box was right next to me on the porch pillar. Marcus took a step forward. 5 seconds, Dave, he counted. 1, he stepped on the grass. 2, I shifted my grip on the hammer. 3, I saw Liam's face in the window. He looked terrified. 4, Marcus raised the lighter. He was holding a Molotov cocktail I hadn't noticed in his other hand. 5, I didn't lunge at him. I slammed my fist onto the sprinkler control. Kachum. The yard exploded with water. High-pressure jets. Marcus slipped on the wet grass. The lighter flew out of his hand. The Molotov cocktail smashed on the driveway, but the water soaked the fuse instantly. Now, I screamed. I charged. I tackled Marcus into the mud. We rolled. He was strong. Stronger than me. He punched me in the jaw. I saw stars. Get him. Marcus yelled to his boys. The other 2 bikers started running toward us. I was done. I was dead. I closed my eyes, waiting for the boot to hit my face. W-O-O-P, whoop. A siren. Blue and red lights flooded the street. Tires screeched. Sheriff's deputies poured out of 3 cruisers. Shotguns raised. On the ground, now. Stan. Beautiful, glorious Stan. He had called the cops the second we hung up. Marcus froze. He looked at me. Blood dripping from his nose. This isn't over, David, he whispered. You think you won? Ask her about the baby. The cops dragged him away. I lay in the mud, panting, bleeding. The adrenaline was fading. Ask her about the baby. What baby? The boys were inside. I stood up. I limped to the porch. Vanessa was standing there. She wasn't looking at Marcus. She was looking at me. He's gone, I said. It's over. She didn't smile. David, she whispered. What? He said. Ask me about the baby. Vanessa looked down. The boys aren't the only ones, she said. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? I mean, she said, tears streaming down her face, when I left Nevada, I was pregnant. With Marcus's kid? She nodded. Where is it? I asked. Where is the child? She pointed to the police car where Marcus was sitting in cuffs. He doesn't know, she said. He thinks I lost it. Where is the child, Vanessa? She looked me dead in the eye. You know her, she said. I know her? Yeah, Vanessa whispered. She's your brother's adopted daughter, Alice. The world stopped. My brother who lived 2 towns over, who adopted a little girl 12 years ago. Alice, my niece, the girl I bought ice cream for every Sunday. She was Marcus Vane's daughter, and Vanessa was her mother. I looked at Vanessa. I looked at the police car, and I realized the web of lies wasn't just in this house. It was the whole family. And Marcus? If he finds out his daughter is 20 miles away, he isn't going to stop at burning my house. He's going to burn the whole world. Family is everything. That's what my pop used to say. But Pop never told me what to do when family is poison. I was driving 80 miles an hour down a 40-mile-an-hour road. My hands were gripping the wheel so hard the leather was squeaking. Vanessa was next to me. She wasn't crying anymore. She was just staring at the dashboard. "Does he know?" I asked. My voice sounded like gravel. "Does Sam know that Alice is your daughter?" Vanessa shook her head. "No, he thinks it was a closed adoption, anonymous." I hit the steering wheel. "How, Vanessa? How do you fake an adoption to your own brother-in-law?" "I used a lawyer," she whispered. "I paid him off. Sam and his wife, they couldn't have kids. They were desperate. I told them I found a girl in trouble who needed a home. They never met the birth mother. They signed the papers. I signed the papers. And they took Alice. I felt sick. My brother Sam, the best man I know, he had been raising Marcus Vane's daughter for 12 years, and he had no idea that the birth mother was sitting at his Thanksgiving table every year. Why? I asked. Because Marcus would have killed her, Vanessa said. He wanted a son. He hated that I was pregnant with a girl, and if I left him, he would have used her to hurt me. I had to hide her, David. I had to hide her where I could still see her grow up. It was twisted. It was sick. But in a messed up way, it made sense. But logic didn't matter right now, because Marcus Vane was in a holding cell. And men like Marcus, they don't stay inside for long. I had to get to Sam's house. I had to shatter his world to save his life. We pulled up to Sam's place. It looked perfect. Green grass. A bicycle on the lawn. Alice's bike. Pink streamers on the handles. I looked at that bike, and I wanted to weep. But I didn't have time for tears. I grabbed Vanessa's arm. "You are going to tell him," I said. "You are going to look him in the eye and tell him everything." "David, please," she begged. "He'll hate me." "He already should," I said. I dragged her to the door. I didn't knock. I used my key. "Sam," I yelled. Sam walked into the hallway. He was holding a coffee mug, wearing his bathrobe. "David?" he asked. "What's wrong? Why is Vanessa crying?" He looked so innocent, so kind. "Sit down, Sam," I said. "Where's Alice?" "She's at school," Sam said. "David, you're scaring me. Sit down." I pushed Vanessa forward. "Tell him." I watched my brother break. It's a hard thing to see a grown man break. Vanessa told him. She told him about Marcus, about the fake adoption, about the DNA. Sam didn't scream. He just set his coffee mug down, very carefully. Then he looked at me. "Is it true, Dave?" "Yeah, Sam, it's true. So Alice—" Sam's voice cracked. "She's not random. She's—" He looked at Vanessa. "She's yours?" Vanessa nodded. "And the father?" Sam asked. "Who is the father?" "A man named Marcus Vane," I said. "And he's dangerous, Sam. He's in jail right now, but he knows." Sam stood up. He walked over to the window. He looked out at the street. 12 years, Sam whispered. "You let me raise your daughter. You watched me change her diapers. You watched me teach her to ride that bike. And you never said a word. I did it to protect her." Vanessa sobbed. Sam turned around. His face wasn't kind anymore. "You did it to protect yourself." Sam walked past her. He came to me. "What do we do, Dave?" "That's my brother. World falling apart. And he asks for the plan." "We get Alice," I said. "We pick her up from school. Now, we pack a bag. We go to the cabin up north. We disappear until Marcus is put away for good. Sam nodded. I'll get the keys. But just then, my phone rang. It was Stan, I answered. Stan, tell me you have good news. Tell me Marcus is denied bail. Silence on the other end. Stan? David, Stan said. His voice was shaking. You need to listen to me. Marcus Vane isn't in jail. What? I shouted. The cops took him last night. He made bail, David, 10 minutes ago. How? He has a record. He attempted arson. His lawyer, Stan said. He has a big city lawyer. They claimed self-defense. They said you attacked him. It's a he said, she said situation until the court date. David. He walked out the front door. My blood froze. Stan? Where is he? I don't know, Stan said. But, David, I checked his visitation logs from when he was in holding. Who visited him? Nobody, Stan said. But he made one phone call. To who? To a number registered to the Sunnydale Elementary School front office. The phone slipped out of my hand. Sunnydale, Alice's school. Pause the video. Right now, if you knew a killer was heading for your child's school, would you wait for the police? Or would you handle it yourself? Type police or handle IT in the comments. Because Sam and I, we didn't wait for the cops. We got in the truck. I have never driven like that in my life. We left Vanessa at the house, locked in. It was just me and Sam, 2 brothers, 2 fathers. She gets out at 3 o'clock, Sam said, looking at his watch. It's 2:45. He called the school, Sam. Why would he call the school? To check if she was there, Sam said. To confirm the target. We drifted around a corner. My tools were sliding around in the truck bed. Hammers, saws. Dave, Sam said. He reached into the glove box. He pulled out a pistol. I didn't know Sam owned a gun. Since when? I asked. Since the world got crazy, Sam said. He racked the slide. If he touches her, Dave, I'm going to end him. I didn't stop him. We screeched into the school parking lot. It was chaos. Buses lining up. Parents in SUVs. Kids running everywhere. Do you see him? I asked. Sam was scanning the crowd. I don't see the bikes. I don't see Marcus. We jumped out of the truck. We ran toward the main entrance. Mr. Miller, the security guard, yelled. You can't park there. We ignored him. We burst into the office. The secretary looked up, startled. I need Alice Miller, Sam said. Right now. Emergency family matter. The secretary frowned. Mr. Miller? You're early. Just get her. Sam yelled. I can't, the secretary said. Why not? Because her uncle already picked her up. The room stopped spinning. Sam looked at me. I looked at Sam. I'm her uncle, I said. And I'm right here. The secretary looked confused. She checked her clipboard. No. A Mr. Vane. He said he was her biological uncle on her mother's side. He had the paperwork. Birth certificate? ID? He said there was a medical emergency with Vanessa. Sam slammed his hands on the desk. How long ago? 5 minutes, she squeaked. What was he driving? I barked. A black van. He went that way. She pointed east, toward the highway. toward the state line. If he got her across state lines, she was gone. We ran back to the truck. "He has her, Dave," Sam was hyperventilating. "He has my little girl." "Not for long," I said. I fired up the engine. I peeled out of the lot. I looked east. About a mile down the road I saw it. A black van, weaving through traffic. "I see him." I yelled. "Catch him." Sam screamed. "Ram him if you have to." I pushed that Ford F-150 to its limit. The engine roared. Marcus was fast, but he was driving a heavy van. I was driving pure adrenaline. We were closing the gap. 500 yards. 200 yards. I could see the back window of the van. I saw a silhouette, small. Alice. She was banging on the glass. That image? My niece, terrified, banging on the glass. It flipped a switch in my brain. I wasn't a contractor anymore. I was a weapon. "Sam," I said. "Hold on. Do it." Sam yelled. I floored it. I came up alongside the van. I looked over. Marcus was driving. He saw me. He smiled. That same sick, scarred smile. He swerved into my lane. Screech, metal on metal. Sparks flew. He tried to run me off the road, but my truck was loaded with heavy tools. I had the weight. I held my line. "He's trying to flip us." Sam yelled. "Call the cops." I shouted. "Tell them we are southbound on Route 9. Sam was dialing. Marcus swerved again. Bang. My side mirror shattered. But we were coming up on a bridge. The overpass. "I'm going to box him in," I said. I pulled ahead. I cut the wheel hard to the right. I slammed the brakes. It was a crazy move. Hollywood stunt stuff. But it worked. The van couldn't stop in time. Marcus slammed on his brakes to avoid hitting my truck. The van fishtailed. It spun. 1 spin. 2 spins. And then it tipped. Crash. The van slid on its side, sparks showering the road like fireworks. It came to a stop against the guardrail. Silence. Steam hissing from the engine. "Alice?" Sam screamed. We jumped out. Sam had the gun. I had my hammer. We ran to the van. The back doors were bent. I jammed the claw of my hammer into the gap. "Pull!" I yelled. We wrenched the doors open. Alice was strapped in the back seat, upside down. She was screaming, "Daddy, Daddy!" Sam crawled in. He cut the seat belt with a pocket knife. He pulled her out. She was crying, but she looked okay. "No blood. I got you, baby." "I got you," Sam cried. I turned to the front of the van. Marcus, he was groaning, trapped behind the steering wheel. The airbag had deployed. I looked at him. He looked back. His face was bloody. "You're dead, Miller," he wheezed. "You're both dead." Sam walked over. He was holding Alice with one arm. He pointed the gun with the other. "Sam, don't," I said. Sam looked at Marcus. "You ever come near her again," Sam whispered, "and I won't call the police." Sirens in the distance. We had won. Again. But as I looked at Marcus, I noticed something. He was smiling. Why was he smiling? He just crashed. He was trapped. The cops were coming. "Check his phone," I said. "What?" "Check his phone, Sam." "Why is he smiling?" I reached into the cab. I grabbed Marcus's phone off the dashboard. It was on a call, speakerphone. "Hello?" I said. A voice answered. A woman's voice. But it wasn't Vanessa, and it wasn't the police. "Is it done?" the voice asked. "Do you have the girl?" I froze. "Who is this?" I asked. The line went dead. I looked at Marcus. "Who was that?" I demanded. Marcus laughed. Blood bubbled on his lips. "You think I work alone, Dave? You think I have the brains to fake a passport and launder $250,000? He coughed. "I'm just the muscle, Dave. I'm just the ex-husband." "Who is she?" I screamed. "Who is on the phone?" Marcus looked at me with cold, dead eyes. "The one who wants her money back. And she doesn't care who she has to kill to get it. We didn't go home. Home wasn't safe. The cops took Marcus." But his words were stuck in my head. "I'm just the muscle." We drove 3 towns over. Checked into a motel under a fake name. Cash only. Sam, Alice, Vanessa, and me. The boys were with my mom. They were safe for now, but Alice was the target. We sat in that motel room, eating pizza that tasted like cardboard. Sam wouldn't let Alice go. He held her while she slept. Vanessa was in the corner, silent. "Who is the woman?" I asked Vanessa. "I don't know," Vanessa said. "Don't lie to me." I snapped. Marcus was talking to a woman. She asked if he had the girl. "Who is she?" Vanessa started crying again. "I don't know her name. I just know. I know Marcus owed people money. Big people. In Vegas. That's why I stole the cash. To pay them off so they wouldn't kill him. But I kept it. So this woman..." I paced the room. "She's not looking for Alice because of Marcus. She's looking for Alice because..." I stopped. I looked at Alice's backpack. The one we grabbed from the van. The one Marcus had tossed in there. "Vanessa," I said slowly, "where did you hide the money? The $250,000? "I spent it," she said. "On the house." "On the life? All of it?" "Most of it." "Then why do they want Alice?" I asked. "If the money is gone and Marcus is caught, why kidnap the kid?" I grabbed Alice's backpack. "Hey," Alice woke up. "That's my bear." "Sorry, sweetie," I said. I opened the bag, textbooks, pencil case. A stuffed bear. It was an old bear, tattered. "She's had that bear since she was a baby," Sam said softly. "Vanessa gave it to her the day of the adoption." I looked at Vanessa. Her face went white again. "The bear," she whispered. I looked at the bear. It felt heavy, lumpy. I took my pocket knife. "David, don't," Vanessa said. I sliced the back of the bear open. Cotton stuffing fell out. And something else. A hard drive. A small silver hard drive. Wrapped in plastic. "What is this?" I asked Vanessa. I didn't know it was in there. She screamed. I swear. Marcus gave me that bear to give to the baby before I left him. He said it was a peace offering. I plugged the hard drive into my laptop. The screen flickered. Passcode protected. But the file name was visible. Project Omega Ledger. I looked at Sam. "This isn't about $250,000, I said. "Marcus didn't want his daughter back. He wanted the drive. What's on it?" Sam asked. "I don't know," I said. but people are willing to kill for it. Suddenly, 3 loud knocks on the motel door. Bang, bang, bang. Sam grabbed the gun. I grabbed my hammer. "Who is it?" I called out. "Room service?" a muffled voice said. "We didn't order room service," I whispered. I moved to the peephole. I looked out. The hallway was empty. No cart, no person, just a package sitting on the doormat. "Cover me," I told Sam. I opened the door. I looked left, right, empty. I pulled the package inside and locked the deadbolt. It was a plain brown box. "Open it," Vanessa whispered. I cut the tape. I opened the flaps. Inside was a phone, a single burner phone, and it was ringing. I picked it up. "Hello?" The voice on the other end was smooth, calm. It wasn't Marcus. It wasn't the woman. It was a man, a voice I recognized, a voice I had trusted for 12 years. "David," the voice said, "you have something of mine." My stomach dropped out of my body. I looked at the phone. I looked at Sam. "Who is it?" Sam mouthed. I couldn't speak, because I knew that voice. I heard it every Sunday. I heard it when I needed advice. I heard it when I needed a lawyer. "Stan?" I whispered. "The hard drive, David," Stan said. "Bring it to my office, alone, or I make a call to the jail, and Marcus gets released into general population. With your address." "You?" I choked out. "You're behind this?" "I'm a lawyer, David," Stan said, cold as ice. "I represent many interests. Marcus was a client long before you were. He stole that drive from us. Vanessa stole it from him. And now you're going to give it back. And if I don't, then look out the window." I walked to the window. I pulled back the curtain. Across the street, under a street lamp, was my truck, and standing next to it was the sheriff who arrested Marcus. He was leaning against my truck, smoking a cigarette, watching our door. "The police are with you?" I asked. "Everyone has a price, David," Stan said. "You have 1 hour." The line went dead. I dropped the phone. We were trapped. The lawyer, the cops, the criminals, they were all the same team. And we were just a carpenter and a dad in a cheap motel room. Sam looked at me. "What do we do?" I looked at the hard drive. I looked at Alice. I picked up my hammer. "We stopped playing by the rules," I said. "We're going to call the only person who hates Stan more than we do." "Who?" Sam asked. I smiled. "Gary, the biological father? Gary?" Vanessa asked. "He's a coward." "Yeah," I said, "but he's a coward with a private jet. And right now, we need wings." Stan gave us 1 hour. He had the sheriff watching the door. He had the exits covered. He thought he had us in a box. But Stan made one mistake. He forgot who I was. I'm not a lawyer. I don't look for loopholes. I'm a contractor. If I don't like a wall, I remove it. I looked at Sam. "Turn up the TV," I whispered. Loud, Sam cranked the volume on an old Western movie. Gunshots and horses filled the room. I took the pillow. I held it against the drywall connecting our room to room 104. I checked the Stud Finder app on my phone. Empty space. I swung the hammer. Thud. The pillow muffled the sound. The drywall cracked. I swung again. Thud. A hole appeared. Dust filled the air. Vanessa grabbed Alice and covered her mouth with a towel. "Keep going," Sam whispered. "The sheriff is lighting another cigarette." I worked fast. Sweat stung my eyes. 1 hole. 2 holes. I kicked the rest of the plaster in. We weren't going out the front door. We were going through the neighbor's room. Room 104 was empty. Thank God. I climbed through the jagged hole. I pulled Alice through. Then Vanessa. Then Sam. We crept to the bathroom window of room 104. It faced the alley. Away from the sheriff. Away from the truck. We squeezed out into the cool night air. We were free. But we weren't safe. We had no car. My truck was being watched. "Now what?" Vanessa hissed. I looked at the phone Stan sent us. I dialed Gary. "Who is this?" Gary answered on the first ring. He sounded drunk. "It's David," I said. "Shut up and listen." "Stan is blackmailing you, isn't he?" Silence. "He's been bleeding you dry," I guessed. "He knows about your other family. He knows about the shady deals." "How do you know that?" Gary whispered. "Because I have his ledger," I lied. "I have the hard drive. It has everything on it. Him, the judges. And you, what do you want?" "I want out," I said. "I want a plane, tonight. Meet us at the private airfield. County Road 9. And the drive?" "You get the drive," I said. "And you get to bury Stan forever." "I'll be there in 20 minutes, Gary said. I hung up. I looked at Sam. "We're walking," I said. "Stick to the shadows." We hiked 2 miles. Alice was tired. Sam carried her. When we got to the airfield, I saw him. Gary. He was leaning against his Mercedes. He looked nervous, checking his watch. We walked out of the tree line. Gary jumped. He looked at me. Then he looked at the boys. Wait, no. He looked at Alice. He had never met her. "Is that her?" Gary asked. "That's Marcus's kid," I said. "Don't worry about it. Where is the drive?" Gary demanded. He held out his hand. I pulled the teddy bear out of Sam's bag. "It's inside," I said. "Give it to me." "Plane first," I said. "Get them on board. Sam, Alice, Vanessa. They go to Canada. Or Mexico. I don't care. Just get them gone. And you?" Gary asked. "I stay," I said. "David, no." Sam yelled. "We stick together. Someone has to ensure Gary doesn't turn the plane around," I said. "I'm staying to finish this with Stan." Gary sneered. "You think you can take Stan? He owns the police." "I don't need the police," I said. "I have the truth." Suddenly, headlights swept across the tarmac. Bright, blinding. 3 SUVs. Police lights flashing. But not just police. A black sedan. Gary's face went pale. "You led them here." I screamed at Gary. "I didn't." Gary yelled. "I swear. They must have tracked my phone." Doors opened. Deputies swarmed out, guns drawn, and out of the black sedan stepped Stan. He was wearing a trench coat. He looked calm. He clapped his hands, slow, rhythmic. "Bravo, David," Stan called out. The hole in the wall inspired, truly. He walked closer. The deputies held us at gunpoint. "But you forgot one thing," Stan smiled. I put a tracker in the teddy bear. My heart stopped. The bear. I looked at it in my hand. I was holding the homing beacon. I had led the wolf right to the sheep. "Give it to me," Stan said. "The drive. And nobody gets hurt." "You're going to kill us anyway," I said. "Don't be dramatic," Stan sighed. "I'm a businessman. Vanessa goes to jail for fraud. You go to jail for kidnapping. The kids go to foster care, and I go home to a scotch. And Alice?" Sam stepped forward. "What happens to my daughter?" Stan looked at Alice. "She's the loose end," Stan admitted. "Marcus wants her, and Marcus pays very well." Sam roared. He lunged. "Sam, no!" I yelled. A deputy stepped forward and pistol-whipped Sam. Crack! Sam fell to the tarmac. Alice screamed. "Daddy!" Vanessa ran to Sam. I stood there, alone, hammer in my belt, bear in my hand. "Time's up, David," Stan said. "The bear." I looked at the bear. I looked at the plane. I looked at Gary, cowering by his car. "Gary!" I yelled. "Do you want to be a slave to this guy forever?" Gary looked up. "He has nothing on you, Gary." I shouted. "The drive isn't just leverage for me. It's freedom for you." Stan laughed. "Gary knows what happens if he crosses me." I looked at the sheriff. "And you, Sheriff? You sworn to protect and serve? You're going to let him sell a 12-year-old girl to a biker gang?" The sheriff shifted his feet. He looked uncomfortable. "I'm just following orders," the sheriff mumbled. "Illegal orders." I yelled. Stan pulled a gun. A small silver pistol. "Enough debate," Stan said. "Give me the bear, or I shoot your brother." He pointed the gun at Sam, who was bleeding on the ground. I froze. "Okay," I said. "Okay, you win." I walked forward. I held out the bear. Stan smiled. The smile of the devil. He reached out his hand. And that's when Vanessa moved. She didn't run away. She didn't cry. She ran at Stan. No. She screamed. She tackled him. The gun went off. Bang! The sound echoed across the airfield. Vanessa fell back. Stan stumbled, dropping the gun. I didn't hesitate. I threw the bear at his face. It hit him hard. I charged. I hit Stan with the full weight of 12 years of construction work. We hit the ground. I punched him, left, right. "This is for the house." Punch. "This is for the boys." Punch. "This is for Alice." Punch. "Get him off me." Stan screamed to the sheriff. The sheriff stepped forward. But then a voice stopped him. "Don't move, Sheriff." It was Gary. Gary was holding Stan's dropped gun. His hand was shaking, but he was aiming it at the cops. "I'm done paying," Gary said. "I'm done?" The sheriff looked at Gary. He looked at his deputies. He looked at Stan, bloody and beaten on the ground. The sheriff lowered his weapon. "I didn't sign up for shooting civilians," the sheriff said. "We're done here. They say a coward dies 1,000 deaths. A brave man dies but once." In that moment, Gary became a brave man. Type respect in the comments for Gary. He finally stood up. I stood up. Stan was unconscious. I looked over at Sam. He was holding Vanessa. There was blood on her chest. A lot of blood. I ran over. "Vanessa," I said. She looked up. Her skin was pale. "Did we win?" She whispered. "Yeah," I said, ching back tears. "We got him. Gary has the gun." The sheriff stood down. She smiled. "The boys," she wheezed. Tell them I tried." At the end, "You tell them yourself," I said. "Ambulance is coming." "No," she said. Her eyes drifted to Alice. "Alice." Alice walked over. She was crying. "I'm sorry," Vanessa whispered to her daughter. "I'm so sorry I couldn't be a mom." She looked at me one last time. "The drive," she whispered. "It's not in the bear." My eyes went wide. "What?" I sewed it. She coughed. Into Alice's backpack strap. The bear was just a decoy. She closed her eyes. Her breathing slowed. And then it stopped. The airfield went silent. Vanessa Miller. The liar, the cheat. The wife who broke my heart. She died saving it. I stood up. I walked over to Alice's backpack. I felt the strap. There it was. A small, hard rectangle. I ripped the fabric. The silver drive fell into my hand. I walked over to the sheriff. I held it up. "This goes to the FBI, I said. "Not you. Not Stan. The FBI. The sheriff nodded. He looked at Vanessa's body. "I'll call them myself," he said quietly, 6 months later. The funeral was small. Just me, Sam, the boys, and Alice. We buried Vanessa under a tree she used to like. The boys took it hard, but they are tough. Like their dad. Stan is in federal prison. Life without parole. The drive had everything. Judges, cops, money laundering. It brought down half the city administration. Marcus Vane was found dead in his cell a week after his arrest. Prison justice. Gary? He testified. He got probation. He sends a check every month for the boys. A big one. I don't need it, but I take it. I put it in a college fund. I sat on the tailgate of my truck, watching Liam, Noah, and Ben play football in the yard. Sam was there, fixing Alice's bike. We weren't rich. We didn't have a mom, but we had peace. Liam ran over to me. "Hey, Dad," he said. "Watch this spiral." He threw the ball. Perfect arc. I caught it. "Nice arm, kid," I said. "Thanks, Dad." He ran back to his brothers. I looked at the legal papers sitting on the seat next to me. The final adoption decree. The judge, a new, honest judge, granted it yesterday. I am legally, officially, irrevocably their father. Biology is a suggestion. Love is a contract. And I built this family with my own 2 hands. Storms can come. Fire can come. But this foundation, it isn't going anywhere. My name is David, and this was my story. If you learned one thing from this, remember this: when the world demands you give up, when they demand your money, your pride, and your children, don't open your wallet. Open an envelope. And fight. Justice was served. But thousands of fathers are still fighting. Share this video to support them. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.